Everything is good, right? What happens to you when you're a Zeus and you bring forth from up here, when you bring forth this girl? What happens? What happens? You stop telling lies. Isn't that weird? Zeus cannot lie. Zeus, who is the father of the girl who springs from his mind, he cannot lie. Do you get it? It's the cure. It's the cure for the Nazis. It's the cure for the monists. It's the cure for anybody who wants to bomb hospitals, wants to burn books, and wants to force you to either be X or be dead.
Lucifer become a bad guy.
How did Lucifer become a bad guy? Because God's a liar.
Because Zeus?
Yeah. Zeus.
What did Zeus do to him?
He lied.
How?
He closed the eyes of his Ewa.
Of his what?
Of his Ewa, his Eve. In order to make the second Adam. Right? Don't you know we're dealing with sacrifice?
Huh?
Yeah. God killing his only son.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to elevate him to what they call the Soter. That's the savior. That's the word we get for savior. Right? That's an old title for Lucifera, the female dawnbringer. That's why he's wearing a bra.
A lot of this is really hard to digest.
That's what that boy thought, probably.
What does the word Satan come from?
Now, people will say,
you always say in your videos or your documentaries that you make on your YouTube channel, you always say, "Hail Satan."
Right. Indeed.
But you also claim that you don't worship Satan.
I don't have a religion. Do you? I'm way too lazy for that.
I don't think you're lazy, man.
No. I don't. I'm not promoting a religion, and that's something I tell everybody. I tell everybody, I don't want you to buy my books. I don't have any reason to condescend. I don't have anything to set up here and hold up and say, you should buy this. Yeah. It's good stuff, man. He says Cleopatra was in the game, too. She couldn't.
Who was Lucifer?
He's the dawnbringer. Yeah, they first called him Lucifera, and he was a girl. You ever see a girl with a big...
I mean, I saw a girl with a little earlier. He showed me a statue of one.
That's the morning star.
What was her name again?
Venus.
Tell me more about Lucifer.
Yeah, he's the morning star, and he's the one who guards the gate. They call him. He's way older than Christianity, right, or Judaism. He's way older. He's part of the Saturnian religion. Mm-hmm. And what is that? That's the mystery that revolves around sun, moon, and earth. So it's it's all constellations and stuff like that, and all solar stuff, and yearly festivals and whatnot. That's Saturnian, the worship of Cronus. They call it the Golden Age. Mm-hmm. It's before the Zeus enters and takes over, right?
Zeus.
On Olympus, right.
Okay.
It's before he takes over. So Lucifer comes from that older generation. And he's a dawnbringer. What is everybody's job?
What does that mean?
It means you bring dawn. You herald...
Bring the new day?
Yes, you herald the dawn. The dawn is that funny moment when you don't have any sunlight, direct sunlight, and it's kind of they talked about it as a spark in the ether. Spinther, they call it a spark. A spark in the ether. And that's what you're preserving. When you meet as a Christian, and you get up early in the morning, this is how they originally met. They get up at sunrise, right? Now, that's why you have the associations of sunrise with, Easter and all that kind of stuff like that. They get there early because they're dawn bringers, right? Jesus is saying in the apocalypse, he says, I am the morning star.
Jesus says that?
Yes. And he's got a bra on, too.
A what?
A bra.
A bra?
Yeah. It's a special device.
So what do you make of that? Why did he say he was the morning star?
Because he has to be if he's going to be the Christ. If he's going to be the one in the position to be elevated as Christ, he's got to be the morning star. That's the title. They're all dawn bringers.
Okay.
Right? Christos is a dawn bringer. Right? So, yeah, he's got to. He's following, at least the people who are writing about him in John, John's Apocalypse, at least they're making that association. Yeah, notice that they've got Filtra too. The angels, when an angel pours out a filtre, right, or filtron. When they pour it out, that's a drug-containing device. So the angels that pour out the plagues, those are drugs. The beast is called Therion.
So how did Lucifer become a bad guy?
How did Lucifer become a bad guy? Because God's a liar.
Because Zeus?
Yeah. Zeus.
What did Zeus do to him?
He lied.
How?
He closed the eyes of his Ewa.
Of his what?
Of his Ewa, his Eve. In order to make the second Adam. Right? Don't you know we're dealing with sacrifice?
Huh?
Yeah. God killing his only son.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. In order to elevate him to what they call the soter. That's the savior. That's the word we get for savior. Right? That's an old title for Lucifera, the female dawnbringer. That's why he's wearing a bra.
A lot of this is really hard to digest.
That's what that boy thought, probably.
What does the word Satan come from?
Now, people will say,
you always say in your videos or your documentaries that you make on your YouTube channel, you always say, "Hail Satan."
Right. Indeed.
But you also claim that you don't worship Satan.
I don't have a religion. I'm way too lazy for that.
I don't think you're lazy, man.
No. I don't. I'm not promoting a religion, and that's something I tell everybody. I tell everybody, I don't want you to buy my books. I don't have any reason to condescend. I don't have anything to set up here and hold up and say, you should buy this. No, what is out there is a lot of Greek texts, and I'm a classicist, and my job is to protect those texts and to get you the integrity of what's in them. And what you have read from the Bible that you have read in English is a mistranslation. It's at best a hack job. At worst, it's a purposeful obscuring, obfuscation of the actual history. And when you start looking at Jesus, who's screaming, when he's getting arrested that he's not one of these
lay stays,
then he's, you see the real. All of a sudden, the real becomes obvious. And that's what I think is the job of a classical philologist, is preserve these texts and get them to you.
So what does Hail Satan mean to you?
It's the gadfly.
What's the gadfly again?
It's the punch in somebody's face. It's the oestrus that you need. There's a reason you get beaten with whips. It does something. Yeah, it does something, not in a Desaad kind of way.
It shocks you?
Yeah, it brings you, I don't know, it does something chemically to you, right? It causes you to release something in your blood. You ever get the thirst for the blood? Do you know what it's like to eat? Do you think, first of all, do you think it's possible that you could give me the address where they do this? But they take that freckled redhead kid, and then we have text for this, by the way. It's called the De Ortu Walawani. And you take this red-haired, freckled kid, and you pump him full of drugs, and you roast him, slowly raising his body temperature, and you bleed him as his body temperature rises. And that blood is communion blood. That's what you get the taste for. Now, why he has to be red-haired and freckled? I mean, not freckled, red-haired and pimpled. He's got to have pimples, which makes you think, what, you got to use a teenage kid for this or something? Something about the pimples. You know it has to do with hormones, because it's right at that time that whatever's going on in his body is producing those pimples. But that's what you got to use.
Where does this come from?
The De Ortu Walawani. It's a recipe for Medea's communion, and it is sandwiched in an Arthurian tale, which is terrible. It's terribly written. It's Latin, 12th century Latin, and it's awful. It's awful. It's like torture to read it. Right.
But what sort of Greek sources does it come from?
We don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
No. Nobody knows.
Is this what comes from these modern day conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton and the Clinton family trying to traffic young kids to drink their blood and to get adrenochrome to make them young, Bohemian Grove, and all this stuff?
Yeah. Who? I have no idea, to be honest. Do you think maybe that culturally influence? Yeah, I have no idea, honestly. I don't.
Do you pay attention to any of that stuff?
I see it, and when I do, I laugh because it's like, yo, look, they're talking about cults that,
Yeah.
that do. I can show